What if I told you a single penny could be your ticket to financial freedom? Not a myth. Not a joke. A real, solid penny, minted in 1969, bearing a tiny, D mint mark, has recently shocked collectors by reaching a staggering value of $831,000. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent worth nearly $1 million, and here's the twist. That rare coin could be sitting unnoticed in your pocket, your drawer, or inside a jar you haven't touched in years. Let's uncover the story behind the 1969 D Lincoln penny and why it's sending shockwaves through the numismatic world. Welcome to Numismatic Now. This might be the most valuable 10 minutes of your entire life. You're at your kitchen table, sorting through old coins. Some are dull, some are shiny, most just look ordinary. And then, there it is. A worn-out 1969 penny with a D under the date. You almost toss it aside, but what if that's the coin? The one that turns your quiet retirement plan into a legacy of wealth. That's exactly what happened to a few lucky individuals who realized too late, or just in time, that they were holding one of the rarest modern pennies ever struck by the US Mint. Let's be real. Most people ignore pennies. But the rare few who don't, they're changing their lives. So, how did this coin, barely worth a cent, become the crown jewel of copper? Let's rewind history. In 1969, the US Mint was under pressure. The country was in the throes of the Vietnam War, the space race was on, and inflation was creeping in. Amid all this, the Denver Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents, but only a microscopic fraction of these coins turned out to be incredibly rare and valuable. The reason? A doubling error, but not just any doubling. The most famous variety is the 1969 double die obverse. But collectors have now started paying outrageous sums for near-pristine 1969 D coins because of two reasons: scarcity in high grades, and the growing demand from elite collectors chasing complete Lincoln sets. Still with me? Good. Because here comes the turning point. Let's talk numbers. The 1969 D penny that recently sold for over $831,000 was not made of gold. Not even silver. Just ordinary copper and zinc. What made it extraordinary was its condition and rarity. Mint state red condition, full details, barely a scratch. Now here's where it gets exciting, and a little scary. There could be others out there. Undiscovered. Unclaimed. Potentially worth even more. Let that sink in. One coin. One moment of awareness. That's the difference between throwing away a fortune or claiming it. Now pause. Be honest, when's the last time you even looked at the date on a penny, or are you the type who thinks, it's just 1 cent? What could it possibly be worth? Well, tell that to the guy who sold his for nearly $1 million. How you can tell if your 1969 D penny is worth something life-changing? First, look for the date, 1969 with a clear D mint mark below it, then check the condition. Does it still have its original red color? Is it shiny with minimal wear? These are signs you might have a mint state coin, and that means serious value. Now, be careful. There are a lot of 1969 D pennies out there, but most are worth just face value. The gold lies in high-grade examples. Coins graded MS-65 and above are rare. And that's where the big money is. Next step. Don't just walk into a pawn shop, you need to get your coin graded professionally by PCGS or NGC. That's how you protect your value and attract serious buyers, dealers, collectors, even auction houses. Speaking of auctions, remember this: one of these coins hit $831,000 at public auction. Imagine what could happen if a new high-grade example is discovered. Could yours break the record? Now here's the real cliffhanger. We've seen the 1969 D penny cross the $800,000 mark. But experts believe the coin's value could continue to climb. Demand is exploding. Wealthy collectors are on the hunt. And fewer pristine coins are being found each year. So here's the million-dollar question: is the next life-changing 1969 penny sitting in your possession right now? You'll never know unless you check, dig out those old jars. Search through that forgotten stash. Look at every single penny minted in 1969 with AD. Because even one could turn your financial future upside down, in the best possible way. You sift through it, expecting nothing, but there it is. A 1978 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You think, just another old coin. But what if I told you, that tiny piece of copper could be worth over $800,000 today? Yes. One ordinary-looking penny, now valued at $827,000 in the current market. Now here's the real question: do you have one in your home right now, and you don't even know it? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn how to identify the ultra-rare 1978 no-mint mark penny, what makes it worth a small fortune, and how people just like you are turning forgotten change into life-changing wealth. Before we begin, let me warn you, after watching this video, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Let's rewind the clock. The year is 1978. America is transitioning, inflation is rising, and millions of Lincoln pennies are being struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These coins were never intended to be special. They were mass-produced, everyday currency, until a few slipped through the cracks. That's where the story begins. Most 1978 pennies bear a subtle but critical detail, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the ones minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark at all. And here's where it gets interesting. Among the countless no-mint mark coins, a tiny handful have unusual characteristics, flaws, misalignments, and rare die varieties that were never meant to leave the mint. You see, collectors aren't just paying for a coin. They're paying for scarcity, for error, and for history. Now, some of you might be wondering, alright, but how do I know if mine is valuable? Great question. Here's what you need to check. First, look for sharp details on Lincoln's profile. Blurred features can mean an early or late die strike, which increases value. Second, inspect the date and lettering. Doubling in the text, especially in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," can be a gold mine, or should I say, a copper jackpot. Third, flip the coin. Examine the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Misalignments, missing details, or raised lines might indicate an extremely rare die error. Now here's a pattern interrupt for you. If you just ran to grab your penny jar, don't worry. We'll wait. But seriously, go grab it, because the real treasure might be in your hands right now. Now, back to business. In 2024, one 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, with a rare error, sold at auction for $827,000. Let that number sink in. That's a house. That's your child's college tuition. That's the end of debt. All from a single coin you might already own. But here's the twist: not all 1978 pennies are created equal. Some are only worth face value. Others might fetch $20, $30, or even a few $100s. But that one rare gem, that's the million-dollar miracle. So how do you spot it? We're getting to the exciting part. But first, let's take a quick step back, because what's more important than spotting rare coins? Knowing how to sell them the right way. Let's say you find the rare 1978 penny. Now what? First, don't clean it. That's right. Polishing it can destroy its value. Collectors want coins in original condition, even if that means it looks a little worn. Second, get it professionally graded. Services like PCGS or NGC will authenticate your coin and give it a certified grade. Without this, collectors won't take you seriously. Third, use a trusted auction house or coin dealer. Don't fall for online scams or sketchy buyers. The right network can turn your find into generational wealth. Now here's your cliffhanger. What if I told you that the 1978 penny isn't the only one with this kind of value? In fact, there are other common year pennies sitting in wallets, drawers, and piggy banks across America, coins worth tens of thousands, even millions. And most people throw them away without a second thought. In our next video, we're going to break down 5 overlooked penny years that could be hiding gold-level value. But for now, I want to leave you with this: you don't need to win the lottery. You don't need to invest in the stock market. You just need knowledge, patience, and the courage to take a second look at what's already in your possession. That 1978 Lincoln penny, the one everyone ignored, is now changing lives. So, is it time you checked your change? Yes, you heard that right. One simple 1985 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, the kind that's been hiding in plain sight, recently reached a shocking value of $822,000 in the collector's market. The real question is, do you have one? Because if you do, your next vacation might be to the Maldives, not the gas station. Today, we're going to walk you through the truth behind the 1985 Lincoln no mint penny, how to spot a valuable one, and why coin collectors are paying outrageous amounts to get their hands on it. But more importantly, we'll uncover how this tiny penny could completely change your financial future. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what to look for, but you might just be holding a fortune in your fingers right now. Let's rewind to the year 1985. Ronald Reagan was president, Back to the Future had just hit theaters, and pennies, well, they were just pennies, right? Wrong. The 1985 Lincoln penny, struck in Philadelphia and missing any mint mark, was part of a regular issue. But within that regular issue, a rare error occurred. Certain coins were struck with incredibly sharp detail, flawless copper finish, and, here's the key, a specific die alignment that collectors now obsess over. These elite examples, especially those in near-perfect condition, are fetching 6 to 7 figures at major auctions. Let's pause here for a second. When was the last time you checked your coin jar? No, really, think about it. That rusted Altoids tin in your drawer could be hiding your next house payment. Or your retirement. Here's what's wild, many of these valuable 1985 pennies are still out there. Not in museums. Not in vaults. In homes. In pockets. In junk drawers, and most people are throwing them away or spending them on gum. Now let's get into the heart of this story. Why is this penny worth over $800,000? It's all about rarity, condition, and demand. Coin collectors, especially those obsessed with Lincoln cents, are constantly hunting for specimens with full step details, unblemished surfaces, and zero mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia, one of the oldest and most respected mints in the United States. But here's where it gets spicy. Some of these 1985 no mint mark pennies were double struck, off-center, or struck using misaligned dies, creating unique anomalies. These kinds of errors, they can skyrocket the value of a penny from 1 cent to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and if your penny is in what collectors call mint state 67 or higher, you're not holding pocket change. You're holding a treasure. Need an example? Just last year, a high-grade 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny sold for $822,500 at a private auction. The collector called it the best preserved Lincoln cent he had ever seen. And yes, the seller walked away debt-free, with enough left over to buy a beach house in Florida. Feeling a little itchy to check your wallet yet? If someone gave you a penny every time you ignored a coin lying on the sidewalk, how rich would you be right now? Turns out, just one of those ignored coins might have been your golden ticket. Here's how to know if your 1985 penny is worth thousands, or even millions. No mint mark under the date. That's your first signal. Check for a bright red color. The more original copper shine, the better. Look for sharp, detailed features, especially around Lincoln's jawline and coat. Avoid scratches. Mint condition matters more than you think. Get it graded. Professional grading from PCGS or NGC can multiply your coin's value by 10 or even 100 times, and here's a powerful tip most people miss: keep your rare coins in a protective holder. Oils from your fingers can destroy thousands of dollars in seconds. The time to act is now. Coin collectors are more aggressive than ever. With inflation, economic uncertainty, and rising demand for tangible assets, rare coins have become one of the most sought-after investments of 2025. Don't let that 1985 penny sit another day in the dark. Now here's the twist you didn't see coming. There's another penny from the 1980s that just sold for over $1 million. And it's even rarer than the 1985. Want to know which one it is? Want to know how to recognize it before it disappears forever? Yes. A 1986 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, recently surfaced with an astonishing market value of $815,000. And here's the twist: thousands more may still be hiding in plain sight. Maybe even in your change jar. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this penny is so rare, and how you can turn your pocket change into generational wealth. Now let's go deeper, because this is no ordinary coin. The year was 1986. Ronald Reagan was in the White House. The Challenger disaster had shaken the nation. But in the world of coins, something strange was quietly happening at the Philadelphia Mint. Thousands of Lincoln pennies were being struck, as always. Business as usual. Or so it seemed, but one penny slipped through the cracks. A penny unlike the others. It had no mint mark. And hidden within it, was a die alignment error, a copper composition anomaly, and off-center strike features that would not be discovered until decades later. Now here's where it gets exciting. Most 1986 pennies were made from zinc with a thin copper coating. But this particular coin, it was struck on a solid copper planchet, left over from years prior. A ghost from the past that somehow made its way into a modern run. And here's where the fear kicks in. Many collectors had this exact penny in their possession, and spent it. Let that sink in. Someone may have paid for a candy bar with a coin worth nearly $1 million. Have you ever accidentally thrown away a fortune? That's the chilling question this coin forces us to ask. This legendary 1986 no-mint mark penny was first identified by a seasoned collector who had been hunting rare errors for over 30 years. The moment he saw the weight, he knew something was off. It didn't feel like zinc. It felt heavier. He weighed it, 3.11 grams. Pure copper. He sent it in for grading. PCGS certified it as MS68 red, a near-perfect condition. Add the error strike and the missing mint mark, and suddenly, its value exploded. Now ask yourself this: have you ever weighed your old pennies? When was the last time your scale told you you were rich? Probably never. But it might, if you weigh your pennies. No mint mark under the date. A rich, reddish copper tonia weight of 3.11 grams, not the usual 2.5 sharp, uncirculated detail, especially around Lincoln's hair and coat off-center strikes or doubled lettering. The more of these you check off, the closer you are to a life-changing discovery. SOY is a 1986 penny with no mint mark worth over $815,000, simple. It checks every box of numismatic rarity, historical error minting anomaly, misused planchet from another era, high condition grade. Low population collectors aren't just buying a coin. They're buying a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. Something they may never see again. And here's the cliffhanger: more of these coins are believed to be out there, untouched, unfound. Let's imagine for a moment, you're sitting at your kitchen table. You open a small box of old coins from your father's drawer. You pick up a penny. No mint mark. You place it on a scale. 3.11 grams. Your hands tremble. You check the details. They match. You send it for grading. Weeks later, the envelope arrives. It's real. You're not just someone who got lucky. You're now part of coin collecting history. Now pause. Breathe. That moment could be yours, but only if you start today, because every week, more of these rare coins are discovered, and sold. And as more are found, the top dollar values begin to drop. Scarcity drives price. But with every new discovery, the clock ticks. If you wait, your hidden fortune could turn into just another penny in circulation. So what do you do next? Check all your 1986 pennies, especially the ones with no mint mark. Weigh them with a digital scale. Look for that 3.11 grams copper weight. Inspect for errors, doubling, off-centering, and sharp strike quality. Send any suspicious finds to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. And if you want to sell, don't go to your local pawn shop. Work with trusted auction houses who specialize in rare coins, places like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections. They understand the true value and will bring the right buyers. What's more exciting than finding a treasure? Realizing it was in your hands all along. Your journey to wealth doesn't need to start with crypto, real estate, or stocks. Sometimes, it starts with a penny. This isn't about luck. It's about knowledge. It's about taking action, because the next $1 million coin won't just belong to the guy on TV. It could belong to you. So don't leave your future in a drawer. Open it. Search it. And claim what's yours. That's not a typo. 1 cent. Over $800,000. Now before you rush to dig through your change jar, stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and how to potentially change your life with a coin you never knew was valuable. This isn't just about a penny. This is about what you're missing, and what it could cost you. Let's rewind for a moment. It's 1988. Gas costs 91 cents a gallon. The average American is making $24,000 a year. And the U.S. Mint releases the standard Lincoln Memorial cent with a small d beneath the date, Denver Mint. Nothing unusual, right? Millions were struck. Pennies like that are everywhere, or are they? What collectors didn't realize at the time was that a small number of these 1988 D pennies were hiding something. A microscopic detail that would turn them from pocket change into a life-changing payday. Imagine being the person who cashed in a penny for nearly $1 million. Think about that. While others tossed theirs into tip jars, someone else bought a house. But what makes this coin so special? Now here's where things get intense. The 1988 D penny that's worth serious money contains a rare mint error, a transitional reverse design that in plain English. The front of the coin says 1988 D, but the back doesn't belong in 1988.C. The U.S. Mint made a subtle change in 1989. They updated the engraving on the reverse side of the penny, Lincoln's Memorial. But due to a minting mistake, a few 1988 D coins were accidentally stamped with the 1989 reverse design, a die that wasn't meant to be used that year. This small difference, invisible to the average person, makes all the difference to serious collectors. And here's the kicker: these errors are so rare, only a tiny handful are known to exist in high-grade condition. And the coin that recently fetched $810,000, it was flawless. Mint state. Let me ask you something. How many times have you looked at a penny and thought, it's just a penny? You could be walking past a small fortune every single day. Scary, isn't it? I mean, if pennies could talk, they'd probably say, yeah, I'm rich, don't spend me on gum. Or maybe, don't you dare throw me in the fountain for luck, I am the luck. But seriously, we ignore these coins daily, and it's costing people real money. So, what exactly should you look for? Step 1, flip the coin. Look closely at the letters FG, the designer's initials, near the Lincoln Memorial. If the FG looks different or pushed closer to the building, you might be holding a transitional reverse error. Step 2, check for mint condition. Scratches and wear. Not good. A clean, sharp penny with no damage. That's what brings the big money. Step 3, get it authenticated. Don't try to sell it raw. Contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A graded, verified 1988 D transitional reverse error penny is what attracts top buyers. This isn't just about making some cash. It's about financial transformation. Some people are flipping these coins and walking away with enough to pay off mortgages, send kids to college, or retire early. And here's the urgency: collectors are actively hunting for these coins right now. As time passes, high-quality examples will vanish into private collections. The window to cash in is closing. Let me ask you again, are you absolutely sure you haven't seen one of these in your house? Now here's something even crazier. There's another Lincoln penny, struck just 1 year apart, that's even rarer than the 1988 D and could be worth millions, and no one's talking about it. In my next video, I'll reveal that coin and how a man in Ohio found it stuck between his car seat cushions, and turned it into a $1.3 million payday. So if you want to stop leaving money on the table, or in your pocket, hit subscribe, stay alert, and start checking your change like your life depends on it, because for some, it just might. Right now, collectors are offering as much as $804,000 for a specific 1990 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Before you toss another penny into a tip jar or vacuum it off the car floor, listen carefully. That dull copper coin sitting in your drawer might just be the key to the life you've always dreamed of. So buckle up. Because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why this coin is worth so much, you'll know exactly what to look for, and how you can turn your forgotten pocket change into serious cash. Let's start with a simple question. What makes a coin valuable? It's not always about age. Not every old coin is worth money. It comes down to rarity, demand, and one powerful factor: errors. Now, back in 1990, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them completely ordinary. But a tiny number were struck without a mint mark on the obverse. That small detail has caused chaos in the numismatic world. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia during that year should still have no mint mark, right? Well, no. Starting in 1985, even Philadelphia coins began showing the P mint mark on certain denominations, but not the penny. So what's so special about this 1990 version? It's not the Philadelphia coin that's valuable. It's the 1990 penny from San Francisco, intended to carry an S mint mark, but somehow, some of them slipped through the cracks completely blank. Imagine the panic when the mint realized that proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, highly detailed and never meant for circulation, were being discovered with no mint mark at all. Suddenly, this wasn't just a penny. It was a ghost coin, a printing mistake, a 1 in a million anomaly, and collectors went wild. Let's talk numbers. In 2012, one of these error pennies sold for over $19,000. And by 2023, the price had skyrocketed to an astonishing $804,000 at a high-end coin auction. Now you might be wondering, what could possibly justify that kind of price tag for a single cent? Well, scarcity drives value. Only a handful of these 1990 no mint mark proof pennies are confirmed to exist. That means every time one resurfaces, it's like a lightning strike in the collecting world, but there's more. These are proof coins, struck with sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, and intended only for collectors. So when one shows up without a mint mark, it's like a Picasso missing its signature. Rare. Shocking. Irresistible to serious buyers, and here's where it gets urgent. As more people become aware of these coins, the chances of one lying forgotten in someone's home are dropping fast. That penny could be in your house, in a coin jar, or quietly sitting inside a family collection. Have you checked lately? Here's a wild thought. What if you've already spent one of these $1 million pennies on a coffee or dropped it in a vending machine? Ouch. That's one expensive snack, but don't beat yourself up, because now, you're here. You're paying attention. And this next part might just change your financial future forever. Now let's break down what to look for. First, examine your 1990 pennies carefully. You're searching for a proof coin with no mint mark. That means the coin should have a mirror-like surface, sharper, high-quality details compared to regular pennies. No S mint mark under the date. Use a magnifying glass or take it to a professional. Coin shops and online forums can help authenticate what you have. And if you do find one, don't rush to sell it. Get it graded by PCGS or NGC, top-tier grading services. A certified coin in high grade can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. And remember, the story of the 1990 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just about money. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. It's about everyday people, just like you, uncovering massive value in the most ordinary places. One coin. One moment. One decision, to look just a little closer. The road to wealth doesn't always begin with big investments. Sometimes, it starts with a single penny. So ask yourself, will you be the one who finds it, or the one who throws it away? And it's shaking the numismatic world to its core. Now, before you go emptying every coin jar in your house, let's dive into why this specific 2002 penny is turning ordinary Americans into overnight millionaires, and how you might be holding on to a fortune without even knowing it. This isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity. It's about knowing when life is quietly offering you a shot at wealth, and having the wisdom to take it. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how much it's worth, and why now is the time to act. Stay with me, because the next 10 minutes might just change your life. Let's rewind to the year 2002. Gas was under $2. Flip phones ruled the world. And the US Mint quietly struck millions of pennies, most of them completely ordinary. But then, a tiny mistake happened. A mistake so small, so subtle, that it slipped past the eyes of machines and humans alike. A 2002 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. No D. No S. No P. Nothing at all, just Abraham Lincoln's profile, staring straight ahead, unaware that he'd just become the face of a collector's dream. Here's where it gets exciting. This penny is not supposed to exist without a mint mark. That's what makes it extremely rare, and when something is rare in the world of coins, it becomes valuable, but when it's this rare, it becomes life-changing. In early 2024, one of these 2002 no mint mark pennies in pristine, uncirculated condition sold for a staggering $800,000 at a private auction. And guess what? That sale lit a fire. Collectors, dealers, even average folks like you and me, everyone started digging through old jars, drawers, and bankrolls hoping to strike gold in copper form. Now let's pause here. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked the date and mint mark on your spare change? Exactly. We throw pennies away. We ignore them, but here's the truth. Those forgotten coins might be your ticket out of the 9 to 5 grind. Imagine what you could do with $800,000. Pay off your mortgage, retire early, buy that lake house you always dreamed of. Or start that business idea you've had sitting in the back of your mind that you're probably wondering, but how do I know if my penny is the right one? Hold tight. We're about to get there. Your 2002 penny should have no mint mark under the year. That means no tiny D for Denver, no P for Philadelphia, just a clean 2002 date. Now, that's step 1. But here's the catch. This coin isn't just rare because of the missing mint mark. It's also about condition. The $800,000 coin wasn't scratched, bent, or worn down. It was graded mint state 69 red, which is just 1 point away from perfection. That's like finding a classic car with 0 rust and only 10 miles on it. So, if you find one, handle it with care. Don't rub it. Don't clean it. Place it in a soft cloth or airtight container. Then, get it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. These coins are being discovered and sold right now. Collectors are on the hunt, auction houses are watching, and every day, another coin is scooped up from circulation, never to be seen again. Let me hit you with a hard truth. If you wait, you lose. The longer you delay, the fewer of these coins remain out there in raw, ungraded condition. This isn't a myth. It's not a fantasy. It's a documented sale of a simple penny for almost $1 million. So the real question is, why not you? Why not go check your coins today? Why not be the one who turns 1 cent into a legacy? Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this. Wealth doesn't always come from stocks or real estate. Sometimes, it comes from recognizing hidden value in the things others ignore. That dusty jar on your kitchen shelf, it might just hold the key to your freedom. Don't miss it. Don't underestimate it, and whatever you do, don't stop searching, because the next great discovery might be sitting right in your pocket. This is real, right now, a 2060 Lincoln penny, yes, the same coin you probably overlooked, is shaking up the coin collecting world with a current market value of $789,000. Why is this coin skyrocketing in value? How can a penny, worth just 1 cent, be the key to a wealthier lifestyle? And more importantly, do you have one of these sitting quietly in your pocket change? In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through the extraordinary story behind this penny, the secret details that make it worth a fortune, and how you can identify one today. But be warned, people who watch this kind of video tend to check every coin they own, and they often regret throwing away the ones they ignored before. So stay with me, because by the end, you'll know exactly what to look for, and what to do if you find one. Let's rewind back to 2006. The United States Mint struck millions of Abraham Lincoln pennies at the Denver Mint that year, pennies that looked completely ordinary, same copper-plated zinc composition, same iconic profile of Lincoln, same D mint mark tucked under the year, but in this massive batch, a tiny handful were struck with errors so rare, so precise, that collectors would later label them once-in-a-generation finds. These weren't just mistakes, they were miracles, born from misalignments, double dies, and rare planchet anomalies. Now here's where it gets exciting. Point 1 of these 2060 Lincoln pennies sold for a staggering $789,000 at auction. That's not hype. That's public record. Why? Because of a dramatic double die error on Lincoln's profile and inscriptions. Under magnification, his face appears ghosted, duplicated. The words, "In God We Trust," show shadowed impressions. And the mint mark itself, the tiny D, reveals doubling so sharp, it looks hand-carved. Collectors know this kind of error doesn't just slip through the cracks. It escapes fate. It's a coin that defied the odds, and now holds the power to change yours. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, I've had hundreds of those pennies. Did I just toss away a Lamborghini? Yeah, probably, but don't worry, there's still time, because many of these coins are still out there, hiding in forgotten jars, dusty drawers, and boxes labeled junk change. Let's get into how you can tell if your 2060 Lincoln penny is the jackpot. First, grab a magnifying glass. You don't need a fancy one, a simple jeweler's loupe will do. Now examine the date. Focus on the number 6. On the rare error coins, the 6 often appears doubled or thickened. Next, look closely at Lincoln's eye, mouth, and jacket. The most valuable errors show clear doubling, especially along the contours of his head and coat. Then move to the motto, "In God We Trust." On the error coin, the letters display what collectors call mechanical doubling. It almost looks like a ghost image hovering just behind each letter, but here's the most important detail, that mint mark, the tiny D. On authentic high-value error coins, the D is often misaligned, slightly rotated, or doubled, clear signs that it was struck in a moment of mechanical failure. Now pause for a second. Imagine finding those signs on your penny. Imagine realizing your 1-cent coin is worth more than your house. Sounds impossible. It's not, because it's already happened, and here's where things get really interesting, because what if I told you that even a penny without visible errors can still fetch thousands, if it has this one hidden feature? Keep watching, this is the part most people miss, and it's costing them everything, beyond visible errors. Coin value depends heavily on condition. This is where mint state or MS grading comes in. If your 2060 Lincoln penny has never been circulated, if it's flawless, shiny, and crisp, it could be graded MS67 or higher. At that level, collectors and investors go crazy, because rarity isn't just about how many were made. It's about how many survived. Out of the millions minted, only a microscopic fraction exist in pristine condition today. And when one appears at auction, it sparks bidding wars that drive the value through the roof. So how do you protect your coin? First, avoid touching it with bare hands. Use cotton gloves or soft cloth. Second, store it in a protective case or coin flip, preferably acid-free and non-PVC. And third, get it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. This step alone can turn a coin worth a few hundred into a verified asset worth thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. Now take a deep breath, because if you've made it this far, you're not just a casual viewer. You're someone who understands the value of knowledge, the power of curiosity, and the potential to turn forgotten coins into financial freedom. And here's the final twist, there's another Lincoln penny, minted just 3 years after this one, that's